Right.
To say so again.
We are recording.
Oh, yes, it says being recorded. Yes, right. Got it. I put got it. Right.
Yeah.
Watch the language.
Yes. Watch your bloody language.
Yeah, no swear words like Sheffield Wednesday or anything like
It's
that.
started again. It's a disease. Keith, you have got a disease.
I said nothing. I said nothing.
There ought to be a treatment for it.
John, we've got to make you feel welcome.
No, that don't make me feel welcome. It makes me feel like I've joined a Tourette society. Yeah.
I was John,
Yep.
Chris. I was with a Wednesdayite yesterday
Yes.
who went to Morecambe,
Aye.
and he was still sane. He was still okay. And it was Glyn Maguire. I saw Glyn Maguire yesterday. And it's the first time I've ever actually met him.
Oh,
But he came to Retford yesterday for a Legends versus Legends game.
Oh yeah.
And he bought a little film crew, and he's doing a documentary about my dad, basically.
Yeah.
But he wanted some current shots of the ground, and he wanted to meet my mum and my brother, and he's done it really well. And he just sends his regards to the group. But I actually met him for the first time yesterday.
nice guy.
Keith was there as well, so that was a proper legend at the match.
It will be an exceptional documentary.
You should have told us. One or two of us would have come down, I'm sure.
Well, I didn't want to embarrass
That's why
myself and most of the others, because our abilities are somewhat diminished now. But it was great fun, and it attracted a lot of people, Keith, didn't it? And a lot of good friends.
Yeah,
and
that's right. Yeah, but not many left of my age, unfortunately.
well, they're all catching you up.
Yeah, slowly.
Yeah.
But my era, there's, I don't think there was anybody there, was there?
There won't be many.
There's only, I think, on the championship photo I've got, there's only 4 of us left on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were promised a visit to Media City many years ago, weren't we?
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Anybody remember that film, The Abominable Snowman?
Mm.
Yeah.
Peter Cushing.
The Abominable Snowman.
No.
Yeah, Boris Tucker. And there's a scene where they're late at night. How can you tell the difference up there anyway? It's late at night and they're in the tent and they hear this howling and they all go running off. And there's a fella who's injured in the tent and this big hairy hand comes out under the bottom of the tent and starts feeling, and the fella's terrified and he gets hold of a rifle and drags it with him. The big hairy hand does. Well, that's just happened to me just now, this last minute. I'm sitting here minding my own business and I've got the curtains round me because, of course, that'll keep it totally soundproof. And this big hairy thing has come along under the bottom of curtains, gone over both feet and then withdrawn silently. Eerie. I think I'm on drugs. I think I'm on some sort of drugs.
Yeah. We think you are, John. But
What
we've always thought
drugs
you
have they got you on, John?
Apparently, it's the new cleaner.
All right. I've always thought you were on drugs, John, but it's unkind of me to say. But
it's a given, Chris. It's a given. To smell the rubbish I do, I've got to be on something.
We need to be on drugs, John, to watch Wednesday.
Oh, definitely, Dave. Definitely.
I'm on tranquilizers.
right.
Keith,
Yes.
can I use the opportunity of Glyn Maguire being mentioned to do a very short promo? We heard Chris Hall last week in his 2-part serial, and we've got that up on the website. But there's also, I'd like to draw to everybody's attention, there's a special page on the website devoted to all of Chris Hall's stories. And it really is pretty well populated now. And for those who are new to the group, please go and have a look at it. It is just wonderful pieces of history. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, Chris, but they're beautiful pieces of history There is another page. Again, the promo moved on. The virtual library page is where Richard did a lot of recordings of people who came to Crystal Peaks and delivered presentations. They're all up there. Ted Elmsley and lots of people. Another must see in my view. There's also John's recording that Glyn Maguire did with him of his dad. That's in 2 or is it 3 parts? I can't remember, John, but it's well worth listening. And then there's a super section that's I labeled Glyn's podcasts. These are all on the same page, the virtual library page, which are key members of the Sporting Memories group, Crystal Peaks, their first sporting memories. And they're all worthless. And you've heard me prattle on about Alan Ashcroft, who died this year, who's a British Lion. Well, that podcast has now gone to the RAF, it's gone to my old school, and it's gone to my old school alumni as recently as the last 2 weeks. And it's, you know, it's captivated a lot of people's memories because that podcast put together Alan Ashcroft, who's a school teacher at my school, obviously, but he played against in his debut on the 24th of January, 1956, against Cliff Morgan and then a chap called Leighton Jenkins, who was the RAF College Physical Education Officer. So you see the connection. And it goes on in that sort of vein. What Glyn has done and what Richard has done and what Chris Hall have done for us is a wealth of historical events captured, digitized on the website. Please promote it, because I think it's fabulous and it's all down to you guys. End of promo.
Right.
Chris Hall of Fame.
Sorry?
Can I just ask
I thought that was quite good, that.
Oh, John, shut up a minute. Richard's speaking.
Can I ask what that podcast comes, because I'm a new boy to all this. What would I look for?
If you go to the website, which is www.sm, as in Sporting Memories, SM Sheffield, all one word, .co.uk, you'll get to a homepage, and along the bottom of the homepage is effectively a menu in a set of icons. There's a virtual library, and there's Chris's homepage, there's birthday boys, there's all sorts. You'll work your way around it. But the virtual library and Chris's page and the Zoom page, which is these recordings, we could present those to libraries in Sheffield and say, suck on that, because there's some history in there that you guys have brought to light, which is brilliant. Sorry if I'm going on about it, but
That's
it's
all right.
you guys.
I'm up to date now. Then that's fine. Thanks.
I hope that Glyn eventually may be able to show part of what he's doing, in effect, for me, for my family, which is an amazing thing for him to tackle and do, and I'm very, very grateful to him.
We blew the whistle a bit on that, Chris. Back end of last year, Keith and I connived and conspired with Glyn to produce somebody at my door. Sorry, I'll come back to it. There's somebody at my door.
I'll tell you what he was saying is Ian and myself connived with Glyn. So neither of us are surprised that he's doing something more with you. That's all I'll say on it for now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry, John. Now go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. It was just a casual throwaway remark. The Chris Hall of Fame is all I was saying. It was the Chris Hall of Fame. It's actually pure brilliance, but if you have to repeat it 3 minutes later, it's right. So you're going to throw these gems into dust.
I know. You're totally brilliant. And,
no, I'm not totally brilliant.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Picture in black and white then.
Yes, Ian.
Just to finish off, sorry about somebody at the door. Basically, Keith and I conspired to do, in tribute to Chris Hall's mum, a sort of podcast or DVD or whatever of some of the presentations that Chris has given on his dad, his brother, and himself. And that's evolved into what you and Glyn discussed this week, Chris. So you can bet your bottom dollar, whatever Glyn produces will go on the website at the very least, as well as being on YouTube, which is where he leaves all his podcasts.
And it's top quality stuff.
It is.
Fabulous.
Well, his recording equipment yesterday was of the highest
Yeah.
level.
He's got a young team,
Right.
and he did some stuff on for Sheffield Home of Football and what have you, and got involved with the Wales school in Sheffield area, who incidentally were on Radio 4 today. They're talking
Were
about
they?
coming back after COVID and what have you. The professionalism of his products is unquestionable, but
It's
the history,
stunning, yeah.
the content that you guys provide, really we should sell to our friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank you.
get
Thank you.
things underway. John's not been in any particular place to tell us about the group.
I can show you my scars.
Go on then.
Go on then.
Go on then.
That's all right. You're
Oh,
okay.
Are we licensed for this?
So
Yeah, I remember Christopher Lee in Frankenstein with Peter Cushing.
I thought it was more Alien.
No, my belly looked like his face.
right. Anyway, I'll give you a bit of news. You'll notice today Big Paul ODI is missing. Unfortunately, Big Paul has had an accident. He was running for the tram, would you believe, tripped and fell so hard, he's finished in hospital.
Wow.
And, at first, he said he couldn't feel his body. Now, I've spoken to his brother again, and apparently he's getting a bit of the feeling coming back. But he's broke a vertebrae in his back.
Oh, crap. Oh,
Shocking.
Paul, the lesson to be learned is don't run for the tram. But
There will always be another one.
It's dangerous, this running.
Whereabouts in Sheffield was he running for it?
the Burley tram stop.
All right.
So I don't know where he'd been or what happened, but he said apparently he tripped, and the next thing he knew is there were a load of people stood around him, and then passed out again. So
Where's a policeman when you need one?
yeah,
If that were Liverpool, he'd be applied for Compo now.
Everybody's wallet nicked.
And he won't be wearing any trousers.
right.
Hope he's all right.
That's,
Hope he's all right.
that's the only bit of news that I know for certain about the group. So we will move swiftly on to news of the week. News of the week.
the week.
News of the week at the speed of a candle.
So we'll start off with cricket. As you probably all know, England took 8 wickets for 63 runs in a morning session to equalise the Test series with India. Ollie Robinson taking 5 for 65. And in England's innings, Joe Root scored 121 off 165 balls. Now, Joe Root has now scored 1,398 runs in this calendar year, which is the 4th best by an England batsman. And Root himself is one of the three above him. The four above at the moment are Johnny Bairstow hit 1,470 in 2016. Joe Root hit 7 more than that, also in 2016. Michael Vaughan is the top scorer for England in a calendar year with 1,481.
All Yorkshiremen. All Yorkshiremen.
All Yorkshiremen, of course, in 2002. Yeah. Now, apparently,
Lancaster, he did all the bowling.
Yeah, Joe Root has the potential for another 5 tests. So there's every chance he's going to go to the top of that list. So
Keith?
Yes.
Just throw a random thing in. I saw Michael Vaughan break that record.
Right.
He got 100 and I seem to think it was like 140 at Sydney in the final test in 2003. England were 4-0 down, but that doesn't come into it. It was a brilliant innings at Sydney. So I was actually there when he did it, not knowing, of course, that record would stand for that many years, but it was a magnificent effort. He got 3 centuries in one Ashes series.
I shared a train carriage, if that's the right expression, on the way from London St Pancras to Sheffield with Michael Vaughan, and he was right opposite. You know those silly seats with a little table. He was right opposite me, and we didn't get talking much. But what surprised me, he's got to be about 6'6". He's enormous.
Yeah.
And appreciated that.
He's possibly the only Wednesdayite I've ever stood up and applauded at length. And I look forward to doing that for John when he comes out and he's much better. I'll give him the same ovation.
Yeah.
Give him goal.
The highest by any batsman in a calendar year
Is
Mohammed Youssef, who scored 1,788, also in 2002. And he did it in 19 innings, which is 2 fewer than Joe Root's played in at the moment. So he were really bashing him about the park. So Josh Butler will miss. Hang on a minute.
Keith, there's a lot of noise coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Have you got a plug? I've got a plug. Yeah. I'll leave you my lead. I'll leave you my lead.
John.
Who's talking? Are we silent?
I've muted John.
oh dear.
He's saying,
You say muted or neutered?
Probably both. So,
One to go.
right. So, Josh Butler will miss the 4th test as his wife is expecting. I mean,
what caused that?
he doesn't know yet.
Was he stuck?
So,
This the guy that had a rest earlier on.
It's stumped in that one.
yeah.
He's so out of form, it won't make a great deal of difference.
Yeah, one of England's best-known cricketers in recent times is Ted Dexter. Fortunately, he passed away aged 86. He played for Sussex in England and had 9 Test 100s, 6 of which were higher than 140. His first test was against New Zealand in 1958 at Old Trafford, and that was only a year after he first played for Cambridge University. So his rise was pretty quick. Some of the other things I didn't know about Ted Dexter, as well as being a terrific batsman, and he was one of the innovators that brought about one-day cricket, I believe. But in 1964, he stood as a Tory candidate for Cardiff South East. In the 1964 general election, he lost to James Callaghan. In 1965, he broke his leg pushing his car when it ran out of petrol. So Christ knows how he did that. And but I suppose his longest lasting legacy is that he devised the ranking system for test players that is still in use now. So Ted Dexter, what
He was good enough to have been a professional golfer as well.
Yeah, scratch one, Paul. Scratch
Yes,
golfer.
he was, and he was offered by, I think it was Arnold Palmer and Gary Player to go to America to go on the US tour.
Wow!
But he turned it down to play cricket.
He beat Gary Player apparently in a tournament.
Yeah, he was out driving both of them.
Yeah,
on a round that played with them. Yeah.
So
thanks, Keith, for doing that. It's good.
Max Verstappen was declared winner of the Belgium Grand Prix after just 2 laps. Was behind the safety car. And a British driver, George Russell, was second. And Lewis Hamilton third. Apparently, George Russell's qualifying time to put him second on the grid was an absolute surprise to everybody.
Including him.
Including him.
Mm.
What a farce. How can you declare a winner of the race when they haven't even raced?
Because if it starts, they don't have to give the money back to the spectators.
It's all to do with money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it their version of the pools panel?
Always follow the money. That will give you a clue.
Yeah, true.
So I know that they're now talking about changing the rules.
Don't have to give the money back ever.
Yeah. In tennis, the US Open has started, where Novak Djokovic can complete rare calendar year Grand Slam. There's not many people who've done that. Right. Andy Murray, I believe, has lost to Stefanos. Tsitsipas in the first round, and from what I've just seen, Murray's not happy with Mr. Tsitsipas. So there's something gone off during the game.
Two 8-minute breaks, Keith, which was testing the boundaries of the rules. And although Murray showed some respect for his opposite number as a good player, he just couldn't believe why anybody would need that length of a break twice in a match. And so he's having a slight go at him. But it is a bit odd. But the guy didn't break the rules. It was just he used them to exploit an advantage.
Andy Murray accused him of cheating.
Good for Andy Murray. Good for Andy Murray.
He stood at the back of the court and told the umpire he is cheating. He did it twice when it was Murray due to serve.
Yeah, that's quite right.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have it in our day, would we, Paul?
Certainly not.
No, we used to have McEnroe, who, as soon as he was in a bit of bother, would start showing off. So
yeah, he was invariably right.
That's what put me off tennis. I used to play a lot of tennis, but it's that sort of antic was all right with Poncho Gonzalez and one or two in that ilk, if you remember him, because he was a bit of
Yeah.
a rebel. But when McEnroe came along, it went to a whole new level, and that
Whole
just
new level,
put me
yeah.
off. And it's these women who
Yeah.
grunt during tennis, I mean.
Yeah.
Don't mind them grunting at other times. During tennis.
In golf, the USA beat Great Britain and Northern Ireland in the ladies' Curtis Cup, 12.5 to 7.5, which GB actually led at 4.5, 1.5 after day one, but the US steamrolled them after that, and they've now won 30 of the 41 contests, although it's America's first victory in Britain for about 12, 13 years. So athletics, Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price. How do you get that? A double barrel name twice.
You can only say it once during the 100 meters, otherwise there's no other chance to do it.
So Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price ran the third fastest ever 100 meters in Lausanne in Switzerland, clocking at 10.6 seconds. Not bad for a 34-year-old.
No.
So there's hope for you yet, Paul.
I'm dreading being 34.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Her fellow Jamaican, Thompson Hurrah,
Hurrah!
Hooray.
That's a
10
winning name.
points. Yeah, clocked 10.64, which is the fastest ever time to not win a race. So, so that's athletics. I was in the Diamond League meeting.
And they don't like each other very much either.
No, yeah, Harab beat her in the Olympics, didn't she? Oh. Hey-ho. In football. So we'll move on to
He plays
football.
cricket. Hey ho, Flint.
Hey-ho. What, hey-ho, Flint, Rachel. Yeah.
Not anymore, she don't.
No. So we'll move on to football, shall we?
She's got some good gates, though.
And the most endearing story of the summer stroke into the season, Harry Kane is finally staying with Tottenham. And he celebrated by scoring 2 goals in their Europa Conference game to take Tottenham through. Now, I don't know I've got the nerve or even the bottle to say this next piece, but 2 players signed for West Ham United on the 31st of August 2006. Both signed from Corinthians, and more I've read about it in the last day or so, more the FA totally lost the plot by not taking proper action. Apparently, when West Ham held the news conference to announce they'd signed the players, they said something about, we've got them on whatever contract it is, and that's all we're saying about it. End of story. So people were saying, hang on a minute, there's something more to this story. And even after, yeah, that's right, John. Yeah.
Zebit.
And
He was a good player, Zebit.
a few days after, West Ham were charged with signing, with breaking the rules. They still allowed them to play, and West Ham won 6 of the last 8 games. Unreal. Anyway,
I'm still not bitter about that at all.
No, mate.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
Not at all. No,
They
no.
didn't cheat us one little bit.
didn't cheat at all.
No. Full. One piece of news that ladies football will be hoping it happens all over the places, but the Republic of Ireland announced that their men's and women's teams, players, are going to receive the same fee playing in internationals. So there'll be 2 men and a dog watching the ladies' game and up to 50,000 watching the men's game. I suppose there might be attendance add-ons for it. So whether it'll finish up being exactly the same, we wait to see. I suppose the biggest transfer story of the last week is Conor Hourihane signing United.
Big news, that one.
Massive news.
Massive news. On a loan.
On a loan, yeah.
Yeah.
And also Cristiano Ronaldo signed for Manchester United. Yeah.
I just heard that.
I'll tell you about that one.
Yeah.
They got a pensioner's side.
Yeah. I must admit, I saw Ronaldo in the Euros and thought to myself, this is a player who's well past his best. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Football, it's about money.
Yeah, but he's being paid 400,000 a week.
What I mean.
Yeah. Man United broke the record for the number of away games unbeaten when they won 1-0 at wherever they won 1-0 at. Wolves, yeah. So I don't know if you saw that game. Wolves should have been about 5 up before Man United scored. But
The United goal should have been disallowed.
Yes.
Yeah, I still think Wolves will go down. Don't think they're good enough. So that's that. And finally, Chesterfield won 2-0 yesterday for the 3rd consecutive game and are now 2nd in the National League table behind Dagenham and Redbridge on goals scored only. And Boreham Wood have also got maximum points. So
and no goals conceded by the defence led by Will Evans, which is a good start.
Yes. So
Good start.
it's
It travelled from my street yesterday to Dover,
good
which is
grief.
a pretty good journey, and then won 1-0 and then comes home.
Yeah.
So that's the unglamorous side of playing professional football for a living.
Yeah.
But it's done very well.
I went down to Kenilworth Road on Saturday.
Well done, Keith.
That's got to be one of the worst grounds running anywhere in the Football League. But I nearly got knocked down by Dave Bassett. I was helping the disabled going to their entrance at the ground, and this car came around the corner, which I put my hand out to stop, which he did stop. And we turned around and we saw, oh, it's Dave Bassett. All right, Dave, how's things? All right. We didn't ask him why he was daft enough to be going and watching that match, but
Ex-manager.
He'd be looking at somebody for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We now less
Norwood.
than,
I hope he's looking at Norwood. I mean, that would be an excellent piece of spying.
we're now
you
less
know.
than 1 minute, so let's go and make another cup of tea or coffee and see you in 5 minutes. Everybody.
Okay.